Planet Earth. Saturday, November 7th, 2020. All right, I'm in my hotel room. I gotta check out pretty soon. It's the morning.
We want to make sure that we've got all of our bases covered. We're going to have staff available to complete each task, each step, every day. Obviously, my staff is getting better at what they do because they've been doing it for over 20 days now. So if we finish before our scheduled time and there's no more work,
This was recorded Thursday night.
Notified observers have come up. There's nothing
C-SPAN.
to observe, and we've even gone so far as to tour them and take them to see the area to confirm that there's nothing going on. Unfortunately, there are some observers that come through that take it upon themselves to go into areas that they're not allowed to view, interact with our workers, but they're not allowed to do. We clearly communicate to them exactly what they can and can't do with observers. So no, we have done everything we possibly can in Clark County to allow observers to participate.
So that was Joe Gloria from Clark County, Nevada on Thursday. And I gotta just, if I was there, if I had the brains, maybe I wouldn't, but to ask that question.
Tour them and take them to see the area to confirm that there's nothing going on. Unfortunately, there are some observers that come through that take it upon themselves to go into areas that they're not allowed to view, interact with our workers, but they're not allowed to do. We clearly communicate to them exactly what they can and can't do with observers. So no, we have done everything we possibly can in Clark County to allow observers to participate. Sir, point of clarification, one more question. We're going to take one.
Just,
So no, we have done everything we possibly can in Clark County to allow observers to participate.
well, that's interesting. So I just didn't know that there'd be any areas that they weren't allowed to go to, but the whole thing was supposed to be completely transparent.
In-person voting was reported on election night. That would have been early voting on election day. All of the in-person votes are in the system.
Every valid ballot has to be counted. There's no cutoff time. And with almost 2 million absentee ballots that had to be counted, election officials took the time necessary to count each ballot in accordance with the very specific requirements of the law. And I'll repeat this point again because I think it is so important. Every step of the election process is publicly observable and is transparent. This includes voting at the polls on election day and the counting of absentees. It also includes the canvass and certification of the tally that is happening right now in municipalities and counties across the state. Every ballot cast in the state of Wisconsin has a paper audit trail. Every voter registration and absentee request is maintained and available during that public process. And to address some of the questions head on, Wisconsin does not have more votes cast than registered voters. There were no absentee ballots found in the middle of the night. There were lawyers and observers from both parties on site and involved the entire time. That even includes at 4 a.m. When ballots were still being counted and those unofficial totals were being posted. Clerks followed the law and they counted every ballot until they were done. I think it's also worth noting, and we talked about this yesterday, that in Wisconsin there are 39 municipalities, including many of Wisconsin's largest cities, that use the process outlined in law known as central count to count absentee ballots. This process is where all absentee ballots are counted at a central location rather than at each individual polling place. In these jurisdictions, you will see results from polling places posted while central count ballots are still being tallied. Only when central count is complete and every valid absentee ballot has been counted can they post the central count numbers. This is why you're going to see a spike in ballots reported late in the process. Again, central count is publicly observable, and representatives from both parties observe the tally of these ballots, including the verification of the results that were posted on election night and into Wednesday morning. And the last topic I'd like to cover is recounts. According to the unofficial results gathered from our 72 county clerks' websites, the margin of victory between the top two presidential candidates is 20,470 votes, or 0.62%, and that makes that race eligible for a recount. Because the margin is more than 0.25%, the requesting candidate must prepay the estimated costs at the time of filing a recount, if one were to be filed. A candidate cannot request a recount until after the last county has reported its certified results to the state. The deadline for certified results is November 17th, and for presidential recounts, the candidate has just 1 day to file for a recount. And I have to apologize too, yesterday I misspoke. The Wisconsin legislature changed this deadline from 3 days to 1 following the 2016 presidential recount. If a recount is filed, we would provide a cost estimate, and the candidate would be required to pay the estimated cost upon filing. Once this happened, the Wisconsin Elections Commission would then order a recount. From there, the county election officials would have essentially 13 days to complete the recount and to submit the certified recount results to the commission. The commission would then certify the election